This is Leave Your Mark. I'm Vince Cortese, and today's guest is Bill Fritz. He is born in Batesville, Indiana. He experiences a beautiful childhood with his father, Jim, and mother, Dolores, raising 5 children. He participates in high school activities in football, basketball, and track, and then he is a graduate at Ball State University, where he goes on to pursue what he enjoys doing most, and that's coaching. In 2017, he is diagnosed with glandular carcinoma, liver cancer, and he's here to share his story with us today. Bill, thank you for coming by.
Glad to be here.
Today's sponsor is Hello Yoga World, yoga for the earth and all her citizens, powered by Web3 technology. Hello Yoga World is a global community yoga enthusiast combining ancient wisdom with crypto economics to elevate human consciousness and regenerate Mother Earth.
Hi there and welcome. Now it's time for America's favorite podcast, Leave Your Mark, with your host, Vince Cortese.
If it's fly, loose fitted, it's Cortez. If freezing, chubbers in it, it's Cortez.
Leave Your Mark is about inspiring the world, one guest at a time.
Pass the word from Brooklyn to Pittsburgh, from urban to suburb, it's Cortez, you heard?
And here is our host, Vince Cortese.
You have a very interesting story. It sounds like a Midwestern life and everything's kind of on cruise control.
Yeah.
And what I want to do is just kind of run through what life was like with you in Batesville, Indiana, and having 4 siblings.
Sure. Well, I mean, I kid people about that. Then they come visit my town. They say you're exactly right. I basically grew up in Mayberry. Everybody knew everybody, you know, good, wholesome Midwestern town, small farming community, and everybody helped everybody else. It was just a giving attitude where it was a true community.
That sounds like one of the better places to grow up. So like it's small community. So what was that part like?
Well, you know, again, double-edged swords. Everybody knows everybody, but everybody knows what everybody did. And as an athlete, if I was out late the night before a game, my parents heard about it through the neighborhood. But again, the other side is, you know, you walk to school at 5 years old, you walk to kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
You didn't have to worry about things like what they do today. You played outside till the sun went down, and then one neighbor would call time to come in, and then it would just be a chain reaction for all the other mothers or fathers to call time to come in. So, but you know, we'd play all day. People had apple orchards and grapevines. And if we got hungry, we'd just knock on the door and say, hey, can we have a couple apples? We're hungry. Go ahead and pick them. So, you know, you could just go outside all day long and make your own fun.
Yeah, those are great times in one's life. You get over there, you get the seasons also too, huh?
Oh yeah,
yeah. The time seems to creep by quicker in those moments. So now you're off into high school at Batesville High School, and you're playing 3 sports.
Yeah,
and you referenced to me that if you didn't play basketball, being from Indiana, there was going to be some questions that had to be answered. So what was your athletic career like in playing basketball?
Yeah, they didn't call it Hoosier hysteria for nothing. But yeah, I played football and was actually probably better at football. I was MVP and leading tackler my senior year. But yeah, then you go straight into basketball. And back when I played, they didn't have classes, so a class structure. So all the teams played for one state championship, which was 435 high schools. And if you remember the movie Hoosiers, that's about what it was like at my school. You had the team that the parents just followed the bus to the games. My high school was 400 kids, and we sat 3,200 people in the
oh, wow.
stands, and it was standing room only every home game.
Oh, that's exciting on a high school level.
Oh yeah,
playing under the lights.
Oh, playing under the lights. Yeah, if you made one section or made a regionals or semifinals as a small school, that was a big deal.
Oh, wow. But those are exciting times. So now you go on and graduate to go to Ball State University. What goes on when you're in college?
Well, that was, again, kind of a Rudy story. You know, I'm studying, doing my shtick to get my degree. And I happened to be at a school that had a nationally ranked volleyball program, which was unheard of back then in the Midwest. West Coast, of course, had it. And Ohio State had a pretty good program. So, but everyone took PE classes, took the volleyball class, so they knew the basics of the game. And we had more fans go to volleyball than basketball.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and I had a coach that was my teacher. He pulled me out of class, said, "You got pretty natural athletic ability. You want to train with us for a while?" And I said, "Sure," And 2 years later, I'm starting on the team and we make it the NCAA Final Four my junior year.
Oh,
And
wow.
so, yeah, to go from never playing the game to playing at Poly Pavilion under, with 20,000 fans and ABC cameras, pretty exciting
That's
little
very
3 or 4 year gig
exciting.
there.
Wow. So just a natural at that sport.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I had a great setter, and he taught me a lot and trusted me. So he made me look better than I actually was, is what I tell him.
That's kind of interesting because dynamics of teams. There's some guys that just gel better with other players. And
Yep.
and when you get the right mix of players, it seems to bring out the best in each of the other ones. And it's just like they'll reference it as chemistry or what have you, but it's kind of the mix of them matching up. That sounds like what you experienced.
Yeah, and volleyball is especially like that because you can be the best hitter in the world, but if you don't have a passer that can pass to the setter and the setter can give you a good set, so everyone is really reliant on the
In
play
sync.
before to give you success. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's 6 players that have got to gel instinctively and know what's going on.
Wow. No, that gets exciting when it works the right way. So
Oh,
now
yeah.
you come out of college and share with me what happens, how life begins to take on its journey.
Well, I went and coached for a couple of years at Kansas State University as the assistant coach. And then from there, I got into sales with a furniture manufacturer that my dad was the sales director of. Liked it, but didn't love it. And then got back into teaching and coaching for a while, then hooked up in the late 90s with the National Drug and Safety League, which I traveled a lot, but I loved it. We were setting up child safety programs in small towns that didn't have budgets for like stranger danger, block watch, anti-drug and gang information for the schools. Did that for 10 years, and I covered most of New Mexico and Arizona and parts of Colorado. So I was on the road for about, 40, 45 weeks out of the year, but I was single. And then from there, I thought, okay, I can't be doing this for another 20 years. I got into real estate, but at the same time, I was always still coaching at the YMCA, volunteering, and doing other civic issues. But the real estate started, and have been doing that ever since about 2002.
So you're doing the real estate now. When did you go? Because you're currently living out west, correct?
Yes, I moved there, California, as part of the furniture sales job. And Arizona was part of my territory, and fell in love with it. Just fell in love with the desert and the all the natural wonders that are in this state. The summers are a little challenging, but 9 months out of the year, it's great. And there's always something to do. I've lived out here for well over 20 years, and I still haven't seen everything. So it's just a great place to live.
And you're a hiker too. Arizona is a beautiful state to be a hiker in as well.
Yeah, like you said, you could do a hike a week for 30 years and you still wouldn't hit half the trails.
NFTs are appearing everywhere, even in yoga. Hello Yoga World is an NFT uniting people worldwide. People come to mint beautiful artwork with unique elements of yoga and sacred geometry and stay for the heartfelt community. Global yoga and meditation events, and collaborate with other people from around the world to build a more sustainable planet. To learn more or mint your art and join their community in making a global scale impact, visit helloyogaworld.com. Now, this leads us up to 2017, and what happens in September?
Yeah, it was interesting. I just fought my way through the real estate meltdown and was getting my business really going, and boom, September 17, I had a little pain just underneath my rib cage, and I thought, well, maybe I got a gallstone because I'm 60 years old. Went to the emergency room. Of course, those things always happen on a weekend, so you can't see your primary. And they took an MRI, a ultrasound and a CAT scan, and there was a lesion about the size of a pack of cigarettes on my liver, and did a biopsy, and boom, within 3 days, they said, yep, you've got cancer. And that started, of course, the shock hits you. People ask me what it's like. And of course, growing up in the Midwest, I said the best thing I can liken it to is if you touch an electrical fence out on a farm and you get the sparkles in your eyes and your body goes numb. And that's about what it was like when they tell you you've got cancer. It's probably the most scary thing that can happen to an individual in a point blank shock moment.
You're describing the moment. What were your thoughts when the doctor made the biopsy a reality? Like what went through you besides the shock? What did you think?
It's 1,000 things just hit your question. First of all, the doctor's talking to you, and it could be Mandarin because all you hear is cancer. And the right away thing is what kind? Is it curable? Am I going to be gone in 3 months? That's probably the biggest thing that everyone gets hit with that I've talked to in the past and present is your first gut is like, am I going to make it to Christmas? Like I said, it's hard to say because your mind just goes into overdrive and it spins. But the fear factor to hear that word, we've been hearing it for years. And all of a sudden you're one of the statistics now is, like you said, fear is probably the biggest thing that just hits you. Just fear.
When you calm down, and who do you have around you as far as who you're going to decide to do what you're going to do to support you?
Really lucky. I have a sister that's a doctor, and I have another one who is a nurse assistant on the oncology floor at a hospital in Indianapolis. She's retired. She flew out right away because for 2 weeks, you just get tests. They just tell you, show up here tomorrow, show up here tomorrow. And it's endoscopes, it's biopsies, it's scans. They just, every day there was something for 2 weeks because they need to narrow it down to exactly what you have and what the best treatment is. And luckily my sister came out. So I was able to show up and she knew what questions to ask and where we're going from there. But for 2 weeks, you're kind of in a limbo because they just tell you, okay, tomorrow you'll do this. We have to get all the results in. And again, like 20 years ago, cancer was cancer. Now they're getting so sophisticated. They not only want to know what cancer is, but the mutation, your genetics and everything else, because it helps them pinpoint the treatment. But it's frustrating as a cancer patient because they don't tell you any of that till all the data comes in.
Okay, so now you go through this 2-week period. So what are going to be the treatments that you decide to do or the doctor suggests, and how do they work out?
Yeah, they first started, there were several protocols for my particular type, but just FYI, when they got through with all the biopsy and everything, it was pretty, I was on a short leash is what I tell people. I tell people I was standing on the edge of the Grand Canyon with one foot dangling over, and it was a very windy day. So they did not have a real good prognosis for me, but they said, well, let's start. It was a very tough 6-hour regimen, 1 week on, 1 week off. And that was the start of it. But I also found out at my hospital, the Virginia Piper Cancer Center in Scottsdale, had a wonderful, until COVID, mind, body, spirit department that it allows you to access free of charge, a nutritionist, meditation, Reiki healing, sound healing, Tai Chi. And
Those are all through the hospital?
This is all through the hospital.
Yeah, because usually the traditional medicine places don't permit that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it was cutting edge. And first thing I met was with the nutritionist, and he goes, this is what you should eat. This is what you shouldn't eat.
All right, so you just jumped right into the so 1 week on, 1 week off. Now, was it just chemo or was there other ingredients?
Good question. It was chemo for the first I want to say 7-8 months, and thank God I was blessed to have it shrink down to about the size of a ping pong ball, and then they hit it with radiation. And then they just kind of had me on a maintenance. They backed it off a little bit. But then another year later, in 2019, the spring, another spot popped up. And we hit that with radiation. And they switched the protocol to something called FOLFOX, which is, again, a double chemical combo. And thank God, the scan in September after the second dose of radiation, everything, I had scar tissue, but the radiation oncologist was almost convinced that was dead tissue, scar tissue. and I've been stable ever since.
And
So
this is from when?
from 2019. So it'll be about 3 years in September that I've
Okay.
really shown no signs of active
So
cancer.
you go for like an annual CT scan kind of thing?
Every 3 months, I get
Oh,
a
okay.
CT
Oh,
scan
they
and
still
a
keep
bone
you
scan.
pretty tight.
Yeah.
Now, what I wanted to ask you, you said when they came back, did you, besides the chemo, did you experience any laser therapy or any immunology where it was not, it was through the IV instead?
Yeah, luckily, no. That is other protocols that are down the road. There's about 5 different treatments that they have for my particular type of cancer. And luckily, we've only had to go through the second protocol. And right now I'm on once every 3 weeks. I go in this Wednesday for a maintenance, which is just they hook me up to a 2-day pump with a slow infusion. I feel bad for about 2 days, kind of like I have a bad cold. And then I got 3 weeks of being normal. And again, luckily through this whole process, and my sister's amazed and my doctors and nurses are amazed, I didn't lose a pound. I had minimal side effects, but I also believe it was the meditation, Reiki healing, which is laying on the hands. Biblically, it'd be basically saying laying upon the hands, bringing down God's grace. I'm convinced all that is what helped with the not only the side effects, but my healing. The nutrition slowed the cancer, the Reiki, the meditation slowed the cancer, allowed the chemo, in my opinion, to jump ahead and beat it back, because most people with my type don't make it a year. It's right up there with pancreatic cancer.
Connect with us on LinkedIn. Be our friend on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Whether jumping out the MP or jumping on the app.
You are listening to Vince Cortese. We just want you to leave your mark.
So let me ask you this, share with me a little bit about your diet. I'm always curious about how people choose to eat moving forward on this. It's the food is a big deal, because once you get sick with this and you're paying attention to the ingredients in food like never before,
Yeah.
about 80%, 85% what's in a regular grocery store is not good for you.
Yep.
And
Well,
so where did you shop and what did you eat?
Well, I went to grocery stores and I go to Sprouts, which is more of a whole, health food grocery store, and they get local farmers and everything. I was worried. I had a friend, little story about that. I had a friend come out, one of my volleyball friends, and we were at spring training, and we're sitting at watching a game, and during break, he says, "Was it hard to change your diet?" And I said, "Well, when they tell you got to pack a cigarette tumor on your liver, your learning curve goes pretty vertical." But it was pretty simple, and we all know it. We hear it every day on the news and everything. Stay away from red meat, stay away from fast food, stay away from processed foods. My nutritionist wanted me to eat 7 cups of fresh fruit and vegetables that were outlined that help slow down cancer. And I do a smoothie every day that has about 4.5 cups right at the start of the morning. And then I also do turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, olive oil, which are anti-inflammatories, which help slow down cancer and also better for the cells to get the inflammation is a big hitter. But the cruciferous family, which is broccoli, bok choy, asparagus, cauliflower, kale, shards, that's a big part of my diet. Lots of fresh fish, salmon, sardines.
Okay.
You have the high oils. Not a hard thing, every once in a while, cheeseburger, I'll still have a cheeseburger.
Yeah.
I just stay away from the sugars, big time the sugars.
It's
And-
the issue of the discipline. Yours is very encouraging because it didn't sound like it was a hard transition for you.
Well, yeah, and again, I kind of got my athletic background mindset in that we're going to kill this. But yeah,
Okay.
just little things like, during the Christmas time after diagnosis, I was at a meditation class and they said, "Hey, Bill, there's cookies over there." I said, "No, they've got sugar." And they go, "Well, one cookie isn't going to kill you." I said, "Yeah, but it could keep, 10 cancer cells alive for one more day. Why should I do that?" And that was kind of my mindset once I get over the initial shock and fear that this is a war.
And it's a war on an emotional level and a physical level.
Yeah.
You get challenged, so all you're worth, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Well, I want to congratulate you on your remission.
Thank you. Yep.
And I want to ask you before you go, how would you like to leave your mark?
That's a great statement. And it's funny because a lot of people, I think, go through life, if I made a difference, And the number of people that have come out of the woodwork to support me is astounding. And so my mark is now to pay it forward, help as many people as I can through this journey, and just show that love is the way to change the world. And as one person, you can change the world one person at a time. And I work on that daily.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to thank you for coming by and sharing your story with me. Do you have any links or any place that we can follow your journey?
Not yet. I'm working on that this year because now I'm in a position where, again, my last scan, there's virtually nothing showing up now. So the body's absorbed the scar tissue. So I'm writing a book right now on my journey and the spiritual aspect of the body's ability to heal itself if you get in the right mindset, but you also have to incorporate Western medicine. But no links at this time, but you have my email address and my physical address. Be happy to help anybody at any time with a phone call or email.
We'll be sure to stay in touch with you. So when those things go live, we can share them with our audience and they can kind of catch up with you then. But
sounds great. Yeah.
Thanks again for coming by, Bill.
Thank you. It was an honor to meet you. It was an honor to be part of this because, you know, there's so many good people out there that are not only going through this, but everyone has challenges. And if we pull together rather than worrying about differences, we can make a big difference. And you're doing that right now.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
All right. You have a great day.
Thanks for listening to Leave Your Mark today. Tune into our next episode of Leave Your Mark with Vince Cortese. Be blessed.
You just left your mark. Thanks for listening. Listen to more episodes on demand. Just click Leave Your Mark with Vince Cortese.